and everybody cleared the way for them. Um, so yeah, uh, so that was interesting to say the least. There was an actual instance where one of the guys came back into the room. There was a girl next to me on my right, and she actually stood up and sat down to my left, which means there was an open seat next to me on the right. So the drunk guy kind of plopped down next to me in my right side, and I actually had to ask him if he was okay, but he said that the comics they're making fun of him, and they're not that funny. And then it got to a point where he said something very audible that one of the comics that I know that was on stage at the time, Fed one, he heard something coming from the guy and asked him to repeat what he said, and the guy said, "You weren't funny before you got up there." And then Fed one just kind of played it off like, yeah, whatever, bro. And promise me something. Don't get beat up once you leave the Madhouse. So, yeah, that was a crazy night for an open mic. Craziest one I've seen so far. Um, so, uh, so that was my Friday. And then on Saturday, I got to go out to Mission Bay. My friend Camille Waters was producing a show, Boats and Jokes, at the San Diego Mission Bay Boat and Ski Club. So it was a decent venue. I got to meet Victoria. She wants me to help petition um, to not turn the area where her um, boat and ski club, not to turn that area into a swampland or just to do some sort of redevelopment that would take down her club. And um, so right now, she told me that they're gonna do some floor renovation. So the floorboards have been there since 40, 50 years, I guess. 30, 40, 50 years. So, and the place that they're built on, I guess, needs to be preserved and not do anything to her club in the area she's on. They're trying to do something to it, so hopefully they can stop it. So hopefully there's enough votes, enough signatures on the petition to stop it from happening. So hopefully that goes through. Best of luck to them. Um, so yeah, Camille Waters got a great lineup. The headliner was Mal Hall. I've seen him before. So I did show a little bit late because the GPS had me stopped at a parking lot, but it was one parking lot too soon because the actual place where the club was one more parking lot up. So I had to make sure that I used the GPS on my phone, and it pointed me to the next parking lot. So it was a good thing because the navigator on my car had me stop one parking lot too soon. So good thing I had both. um, so I'm pretty sure Camille Waters went first, but since I couldn't see her set to open the show, I'm not going to comment about hers. But I've seen her enough times, so I'm familiar with her set. Um, I came in during the middle of Short Jake, um, of his set, so he has a musical set, plays music, and it was a good set. apparently he got his musical voice back, or almost back. So um, I would say his set was an 8.5 out of 10. And then we got um, next up was Walter Ford. He talked about being from Indiana, and he does great crowd work, and he does great networking actually too, passing out cards. Um, Funny guy. Um, I want to say his stuff was an 8.2 out of 10. So great guy. Um, he did manage to spill wine on his shirt, so that was a thing for a set. So the next up was Kimball's Whom. Good seeing her. Seen her set a few times now. Um, One of her bits, she talked about having twins, and it's the only time she could ever say that she had three dicks, three penises in her at the same time. So that was kind of funny. And she talked about how she brought her kids to a birthday party at a trampoline park, and she was drunk from vodka, and apparently she fell off the trampoline, and her hand landed on a puddle of liquid, and it turns out it was her own urine. And then she mentioned to some lady at the party that, oh, don't worry, it's probably sterile. And um, the person had asked, how do you know it's sterile? And then Kimball's pretty much said, oh, it's because it's probably a mixture of vodka and water. So that was pretty funny. Um, so overall, good set from her. I would say she was an 8.5 out of 10. And then you got your headliner, Mal Hall. He had to go to another show after. It was at the Comedy Store, so he didn't get to stick around. So talked about his kids. Talked about how apparently you have to do gentle parenting these days, so you can't lie to your kids. One time he said like he was about to go somewhere and about to bring the kids and the family, but the kids were kind of lagging behind on getting ready, and he was looking at his kid and told his kid, you better have some shirt, pants, and shoes on in the next couple of minutes, because if you're not ready, we're going to leave you at home. And then the moment that he said that, his wife was like, oh, we would never do that to you. So in a way, it kind of undermined, Mal. So that was kind of funny. And then he said there's a thing where he went to the park with his kids, and some parent tried to give him a tip that if you ever try to get your kid to be rushed to get, to go home with you, you had to set a timer, and they hear the timer, and they know for sure that that's the time to go. But Mal says like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that because I'm not training my kid to be a Pavlov dog. That was kind of funny. Got the crowd laughing. And then he said his tactic is basically to say a random number, like say, buddy, you got 6 minutes, and we're gonna go. And to any kid, they have no concept of time, which is probably true. That got people laughing. And when he says 6 minutes, it's really 2 minutes, and it works for him. So good stuff from him. I enjoy his set. I did see him at Don't Tell. I did see him at Ubi World, hosted by Mikey Perry, and it's kind of good for me to finally get to see his sets. And now I've seen him too much now, so I probably won't see him for a while. So yeah, I did take some pictures, but it did not include Mal Hall because he had to go perform at the Comedy Store right after this show. So it's all good. I got enough pictures of everybody anyway. So, and let's see. And then I had to go over to the Madhouse. Again, I did see Cameron and Kane again. This time, the headliner was J Chris Newberg. I thought I was going to see him on Friday, but instead I saw Adam Newman. And the reason why that's the case because he had to cancel because there was double booking on his part, I guess. So he had to cancel his Friday thing, and so I guess they had to, um, you know, uh, kind of get the Adam Newman thing up and running at the Madhouse, and for sure he was going to perform. Chris was going to perform on Saturday, so he even had Jennifer Sterger on the lineup. Yay! So with that show, um, again, CJ Price was hosting this show. This one is a little tougher crowd. I've noticed that for 4 months now at the Madhouse that the 10 o'clock crowds are pretty tough, and especially for a Saturday night. So this time around, I would say he had the same stuff again about, he looks like a cop. No one ever offers him drugs, but again, still intense. Um, Crowd was kind of into it, but overall, I would say a 7.7 out of 10. Next up was Cameron. Yay. Um, Kind of the same stuff with SeaWorld and his brother. Not too much new material from what I can remember. But crowd was kind of into it. Crowd work is always a thing for him, so I would say 8.1 out of 10. And then Jennifer Sterger came up. Kind of the same stuff again, same jokes. The, I mean, um, she always has that funny joke about, you know, what kind of adult has four functioning lightsabers, and then the guy she was dating like had the balls to tell her to her face that it was for protection, and then she replies protection from vaginas. So that was always funny. Um, and then I kind of had some. I talked to her for a little bit through Instagram, and then I got to talk to her for a little bit after the show. I got a picture with her and Chris Newberg, so that's pretty awesome. Um, but I was telling her what kind of crowds were happening at the Madhouse, and so she actually listened to my input, so that's kind of cool. Um, but I feel like with this crowd, they weren't really into her set, so it's kind of unfortunate because the jokes that she told on Saturday night hit pretty well at the Hollywood Improv and the Comedy Store in La Jolla. So you never know, you never get the same crowd, so it is what it is. But I feel like I should probably give her a 7.6 out of 10 for her comedy based on the crowd reaction and because I get all of her jokes. So, but she's my friend. Uh, Next up was Neil Singh. Pretty much the same stuff again, pretty chill, more about dick jokes. Um, and I guess they were kind of into it. Um, he was mostly his back was to the wall for his whole set, so it's kind of like that the other night too. But I would say he was 8 out of 10. Next up was Allison Vestano again. She got a little bit better reaction, but it's kind of the same stuff again about wearing headphones, being oblivious at the laundromat and out on the street, um, and being on the subway late. Um, she talked about how she was on one of the um, I guess one of the last subway cars, and the last one is where you have like you're doing drugs and stuff, um, but and I guess they try to offer her drugs, and then the fact that she didn't do any made her suspicious in the last subway car. So, and then realized that she was probably poor, and so they redirected her to another car, which is the poor people's. car of the subway, not the drug one. That's the cool one, apparently. And so yeah, she actually got a more of an 8 out of 10 actually. So she had a better reaction with this crowd than the Friday night crowd. So next up was Dave Rosenberg again. Same thing, crowd work. He had a good reaction to his crowd work, asking about couples and stuff, bachelorette parties. Um, then that was his whole set. So 8.6 out of 10. And then next up was Shar Rampton again. Still dark stuff, but because of the dark stuff and it doesn't work with this particular crowd, same stuff again about obstacle courses and her niece, and then same thing again, talking about you know I have an obstacle course in mind. You're pregnant in Kentucky. You have to have the baby. You can't abort it. Your boyfriend left you. You work at a Waffle House. So what do you do? So that got some laughs, but overall, she's got a dark side to her comedy, and it didn't pan too well with the crowd, and I think she knows that too. So I would have to give her a 7 out of 10 for her stuff on Saturday night. And then you got your headliner, Chris Newberg. He had a guitar. He can do, he was trying some new material, but the fortunate thing about his set was that it was cutting in and out on the mic, so you can hear it. And he has some good stuff, though, and he's great on guitar. He actually did a rendition of one of Taylor Swift's songs, so that's kind of cool. And overall, I thought his set with the crowd, 8.2 out of 10. And as he got to pack up and leave, along with Jennifer Sterger, I asked for a picture for both of them. And so she did a selfie on her phone and she sent me the pictures. So I got a picture with her, Chris Newberg, and myself. So it's kind of cool talking to him for a little bit, and it's on to the next show. So that is my review of all 4 shows and one open mic. There was actually another open mic on a Saturday night, but that was a lot more chill. Nothing crazy happened that one. So, I mean, it's kind of cool seeing, the who's who of comics in San Diego do some new material and trying some their old material and see how it works with any size crowd. So, actually, I stayed for both of them actually, which is kind of rare. But yeah. So on to the next show. My next show I'm gonna go to is April 21st. 2 shows. I'm seeing Brittany Schmidt at the Mic Drop. I've seen her on Downtown Comedy, so hopefully her set is pretty funny when I go on Friday. My birthday is Thursday, yay! So this is a nice treat for myself for my birthday. And then I'm going again to a Madhouse show. I'm going to see Paul Ogata. Going to see him again. I saw him at a dark comedy show at the Mic Drop, so this time I'll be seeing him at the Madhouse at 10 o'clock. So double duty for me for comedy shows on Friday the 21st. And yeah, and then there's some good fights happening on Saturday. UFC Fight Night. Sergey Pavlovich versus Curtis Blaze. That should be a great fight. Might actually be a number 1 contenders match, kind of, in a way, in the heavyweight division. And then you got Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Tank Davis. So those are going to be some great fights to watch on Saturday after a night of comedy the night before. So a good weekend. Plus, Lakers playing against the Grizzlies. So that's happening. Plus Kings and Oilers hockey, playoff hockey. So a lot of great stuff happening this week. So yeah, guys, that's all I have for you guys. Hopefully you guys like and subscribe my YouTube channel, my episodes. Any help is appreciated. Hope this becomes a big thing. And also do the same thing for my Spotify podcast, Tiggy Maximus Talks. Just, if you feel like it, make a small donation if you like. But I do need some more listeners to listen to the episode. So any contribution is very much appreciated. I continue to churn out these episodes, and yeah, I wish, hope for this to be a big thing. Uh, so that's all I have, guys. So have a fun week. Be safe. Have some good food, good company, and enjoy the fights. Enjoy good food, and enjoy good comedy shows. And I will talk to you guys later about all that stuff. So again, I'm on here on YouTube. I'm also on Spotify, and hope you guys like and enjoy all the episodes. And remember to subscribe and like all these episodes and the channel. And if you have a chance, make a small donation if you like. Anything's very much appreciated. And tell your friends and spread the word. So thank you guys. I will talk to you guys all later. And Tiggy Maximus signing off. All right. Booyaka.